Why is it so hard to grow? Or alternatively, why do some people say to us, we keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Which implies we're not growing, at least in certain areas. They may even get fed up with us and want to cut us out of their lives or not help us financially anymore if we were getting some kind of financial benefits. So what gives here? Well, I think first of all, we can be quite limited in our lives from what you call limiting beliefs or bad premises, from what we were taught in childhood, typically from a parent, both parents, relatives, or certain teachers. Or maybe a religious milieu. Secondly, I believe time is crucial, which is why Nietzsche was probably onto something, Nietzsche philosopher, when he said a married philosopher is a joke. That seems insulting, but I believe he was implying and stating his view that people who are married have so many obligations and other preferences and desires in life that they don't have much time to also plow in numerous hours into growth. Secondly, in this respect, a calm mind, I believe, is critical, which is why some of the greatest Christian scholars went to the desert fathers, some 1800 years ago. That's why some philosophers have gone to the island of Patmos. That's why you have the, quote, shaman, religious people going to the forests or deserts also. And that's why you have some very creative and independent people going to, quote, the woods of the Northeast, Maine, Vermont, or the bush of Alaska, alternatively. Now, some would prefer to try and grow simply by getting so-called downloads from a authoritative source, as they best try to seek that person to be. Call it a teacher, call it a favorite talk show host, a favorite author, a favorite person on YouTube. They want a quick download. Same goes for seeing a therapist and taking every word, jot and tittle, if I didn't mention it as per a religion. The difficult part is to be what they call an eclectic, I believe, to pull a little bit here, a little bit there, and make your own recipe, your jambalaya. Then you have such a difficult time managing all this data and how to review it so you don't forget it. Which leads me to the next point. Those who wish to learn mostly from experience may throw out the baby with the bathwater and ignoring what has been written and is being taught. You can't have just one or the other and hope for maximal opportunities, growth. But for those who wish to learn a lot from experience, call it the school of hard knocks or observation also. There's the matter then of reviewing things. And that means first writing it down, putting it into the appropriate bins, so to speak, by category, call this collating, and then, of course, again, reviewing and doing it efficiently. And the more data, the more complex all of this is. So a lot of us wish, alternatively, to simply use what I call the societal hard drive, which repeats things for us on a daily basis in the milieu that we're in. What comes over the media, what we see when we step outside our door, what we see in church, etc. That is the hard drive memory for us all too often by default. To have our own hard drive can be quite complex then. And again, I repeat my experiences that without review, observing and even writing things down goes only so far. And we will tend to make the same mistakes over and over again in terms of forgetting certain key facts over and over again. especially if key facts we are trying to ingrain into ourselves that we've discovered are countermanded by what is being marketed to us by certain people. Just like if you have bed bugs or lice, you try and disinfect yourself with various chemicals or what have you, and your clothing, but that also means you must disinfect your furniture and bedding. If you don't, you'll be reinfected. So goes it with trying to grow as a human being in areas different than the norm of your milieu, your society, your subculture. The minute you step out your door, you're subject to being reinfected by counter messages from what you've been observing and thinking for yourself, which makes life very difficult then. Even the words you hear can reinfect you in a heartbeat, which makes things quite complex. There is thus the phrase, you are the people, the 5 people you hang around the most. I would say, to add to that, you are probably going to be likely to be the 5 environments you hang around the most when you step outside of your abode. Those are the places where you can experience infection, so to speak, with ideas contrary to those you've observed for yourself or thought up. So it's not just the people you hang around, but the actual environment. And so these are my thoughts then, just jotted down, of what makes it so hard to grow. From a 61-year-old West Pointer, combat arms, who has pondered this greatly,